Hello children, welcome back to 9th standard science class. Today let us take a biology lesson. Why do we fall ill? And you have learnt in your previous classes that cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Means cells are the building blocks of living organisms. You know that cell is made up of many chemical substances such as proteins, carbohydrates, lipids and so on, and it's a dynamic place where hectic activities are going on. Means the new cells are made and something or the other is happening in a cell always. So it's a dynamic place. Something or the other is happening and new cells are made and old cells or repair work is going on. New cells are made. So continuous activities are going on. And if you consider these cells grouped together to form tissues and tissues grouped together to form organs and organs grouped together to form organ systems. So that even in tissues, organs and organ systems also various specialized activities are going on. Heart is beating, brain is thinking and kidney is filtering urine. Filtration of blood is the main. All wastes are filtered from the blood. This work is continuously going on. Kidney takes this function and so on. All these lungs are breathing. So all these activities are taking place. Various activities are taking place in these tissues and organs also, and for all these are interconnected activities. Thinking of brain may be, heart beating may be, lungs breathing may be, or kidneys filtering blood and urine formation may be. All these are interconnected activities, and for these interconnected activities outside raw material and for energy and outside raw material is very essential. Which is the outside raw material which provides energy for all these activities. You know that we take food from outside and oxygen we take from outside. So these are the food and oxygen are the raw materials for all these activities of tissues, organs and organ systems. And suppose if the food we take is not proper, it affects the functioning of cells and tissues. That in turn affects the proper activity of the body. So it lacks the proper activity of the body. Let us learn today about health and disease. What is health and what is disease and what are the reasons or causes of the diseases, and let us learn about some microbes which cause the diseases. Now let us learn about health and its failure. You have already many times you might have heard of the term health. What do you mean by the term health? Can you define the term health? Can you define the term health? Health is that when we are not having any physical ailment, etc. We are fit. We say we mentally also, physically also. If we are fit, then we say we are healthy. Can you define the term health now? It is defined as the state of physical, mental and social well-being. So it is, what is health? Health is a state of physical, mental and social well-being. Very important definition. Health is a state of physical, mental and social well-being. So physical, mental and social well-being. Now what health depends on. Health of all organisms depend on the surroundings or their environment. So health of all organisms depend on their environment. Environment includes physical environment also. And we humans live in societies. Social environment, the places where we live, may be villages, towns and cities. Here, physical environment is decided by social environment also. Suppose you just think the local authority is not taking care of the disposal of garbage, and everywhere on the streets lot of garbage is thrown. Not only that, around our living places, if open drain water stagnates, what will happen? What would happen if nobody is taking, no authority is taking care of this cleanliness? Then the general health conditions will decrease, means it becomes poor. So poor health conditions increase. So that public cleanliness is very important for individual health. What are the essentials of individual health? Let us try to understand the essentials of individual health. Individual health. First essential is the public cleanliness. Public cleanliness. Cleanliness of the surroundings must be maintained. There must be a proper authority which takes in charge of disposing the garbage produced, solid waste produced. You also just find out how the solid waste generated around your houses or in your neighborhood disposed. How the local authority is taking measures to dispose the solid waste generated. So waste now and then generated must be disposed properly. So public cleanliness is very essential to maintain individual health. And not only that, food is essential for health. We need food for health. Food for health. For getting food, we have to earn. We must have proper jobs. Means our economic conditions must be sound. So good economic conditions for good food to get, we have to earn. We have to earn to get good food. Means good economic conditions. Good economic conditions. Good economic conditions and jobs are essential for individual health. So good economic conditions and jobs are essential for individual health. And not only that, we will be very happy when we are very happy, we will be healthy also. So we need to be very happy to be healthy. So another, happiness is very essential for individual health. So we need to be happy to be healthy. To be healthy. We need to be happy to be healthy. Means we should not blame each other. We should not mistreat each other. So if there is mistreating each other, then we cannot be happy and healthy at all. There should not be any mistreating in the society. So social equality is very essential for individual health. Social equality and harmony is very essential. To be happy and healthy, what is essential? Social equality is essential. Social equality and harmony are very essential for individual health. So, for maintaining individual health, what are all essential? Public cleanliness is very essential, and we need good food for health. For that we have to earn by doing jobs. So, what is essential? Good economic conditions, and jobs are essential to get good food to be healthy. And not only that, we need to be happy to be healthy. How do we find happiness? If there is social equality and harmony in the society, then we will be very happy. We should not mistreat each other. So when we will not mistreat each other, then we will be happy also and healthy also. If we mistreat each other, we cannot be happy and healthy. So these are the essentials of individual health, so that we can maintain individual health. Suppose if there is no cleanliness, poor health conditions results. Health will be a failure in that sense. So when there is no equality, social equality, and no harmony in the society also, this health conditions will not be alright, means there will be failure in the health. So there must be some essentials to maintain individual health. Now let us try to understand what are the distinctions between health and disease. What are the distinctions between health and disease? You know already health means what? Health is a state of physical, mental and social well-being. Then what is a disease? What is a disease then? What is a disease? So disease, it's a disturbed ease condition. So disease is a disturbed ease condition. Disturbed ease, easily disturbed. Disturbed ease condition. It means what? Means being uncomfortable. Means being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable. So what is a disease? It's a disturbed ease condition. Means being uncomfortable. One or the other problem is there with the body. Some problem is there with the body. Means we say that there is some one or the other disease. Means how this disease is caused. There are many causes for the diseases. So disturbed ease condition. For example, our systems, we have talked about cells, tissues, organs and organ systems. We have different organ systems such as digestive system, musculoskeletal system and excretory system, transportation system. There are many such organ systems are there. They have their own functions. So, for example, digestive system has many parts: stomach, intestines, mouth, stomach, intestines, etc. These help in the digestion of food. The same way, excretory system, which includes a pair of kidneys, ureters, urinary, bladder, urethra, which help in excretion of kidneys also, filtering the waste from the blood also and help in the excretion of urine also. And not only that, transportation system, heart, blood vessels and blood which are involved, which help in the transportation of blood, circulation. So, blood circulatory system is there in our body. So, these all musculoskeletal system. This system helps in movement of the body, helps in all the bones and muscles are held together. This system hold these bones and muscles together and help in the movement of the body. Like this, different organ systems help in different ways. perform different functions. Suppose if there is a disease, what happens? There will be a change or one or more changes in the functioning or appearance of one or more systems of the body. So what happens if there is a disease? When there is a disease, what happens? There is change in functioning or appearance of one or more organ systems. So when there is a disease, there is a change in the functioning or appearance of one or more organ systems. So if it goes worse, it shows some symptoms. So the changes lead to some symptoms and signs. So these changes lead to symptoms and signs. Can you give some examples of symptoms? Loose motion, vomiting or headache, cough. These are the symptoms. Wound with pus. These are all considered as the symptoms. But these symptoms do not tell what is the disease is. So it tells that we are suffering from a disease. But what the disease is exactly, these symptoms cannot tell. How can it be diagnosed? Physicians will conduct the laboratory tests for diagnosing the diseases to pinpoint further which is the disease. To find out, the doctors or physicians conduct the laboratory tests and the disease is diagnosed. So when there are changes in functioning or appearance of one or more systems, when it goes worse, what happens? These changes lead to symptoms and signs. And these symptoms may be vomiting, diarrhea or loose motion, or headache, cough, wound with pus, etc. These symptoms tell us that we are suffering from a disease. But what is the disease exactly? These symptoms cannot tell us. That will be diagnosed by the doctor by conducting laboratory tests. Now let us learn about the causes of diseases. What are the important causes of diseases? Causes of diseases. What causes the diseases? For example, a baby is suffering from diarrhea. Immediate cause may be an infection by virus. Maybe an infection by a virus. If a baby is suffering from loose motion or diarrhea, immediately we think it is caused maybe because of an infection of a virus. So that is the immediate cause. So if a baby is suffering from loose motion, immediate cause is the infection by a virus. Then we think, from where this virus entered the body of the child. How this virus entered the body of the child? It may be through unclean water. So this virus entered the body through unclean water. But all the babies may not suffer from loose motion or diarrhea. Only one baby, why it suffered from loose motion? Maybe because of that baby is poorly nourished, means it may not it might not have got the proper diet or food. For that, because of poor nourishment, only one might have suffered from this infection. So this infection may be because of virus enter the body through unclean water, but all babies may not get the disease. Only one may suffer from an infection. So that is another cause, next level cause. This is the primary cause, immediate cause, which is infection by a virus. When we think further, if that virus entered the body through unclean water, why all babies did not get the disease? Only one suffered from the disease. Maybe because of only one baby suffered. Baby got infection. Why? Why? Maybe because of poor nourishment. Poor nourishment. Lack of nourishment or poor nourishment is the secondary cause. Contributory cause, what we say. Why the baby lacks nourishment? Maybe because it is coming from, or it has come from poor family. Its a family background, if we observe, it is from poor family. So that is secondary level cause. So that third level cause it will be. Poverty will be the third level cause. So poor nourishment, secondary level cause. Secondary level cause. And poverty, why it is poorly nourished? That is due to poverty. Poverty. It is the third level cause. Third level cause. So if we observe all these causes, we can say many causes for the diseases. Diseases have many causes, but here mainly we can classify them under two categories. One is immediate cause, and the second one is contributory cause. Contributory cause. So which are the two causes of the diseases? Two main causes of the diseases are immediate cause and contributory cause. I have given an example and explained. I hope you have understood what is the immediate cause and what are the contributory causes. So these are the causes, two main causes of the diseases. Now let us try to understand. Accordingly, some diseases may last for duration. How long a disease persists. So according to the time period, we can classify the diseases into two categories. Acute diseases and chronic diseases. Some diseases may last for a short duration of time. Such diseases are called acute diseases. So what are acute and chronic diseases? Acute and chronic diseases. Let us see what are acute diseases. What are acute diseases? Acute diseases. Diseases which last for a very short period of time. For example, cough and cold. Within a week or so, we get relief from cough or cold, or flu. Within 10-15 days, we will get relief from that. So these common cold, flu, these are all acute diseases which last for a short period of time. Can you define now what are acute diseases? These are the diseases which last for a short period of time. A short period of time. For example, common cold, flu, etc. Common cold, flu, etc. Within a week or so, we get relief. And if we observe carefully, these diseases, acute diseases, will not cause any danger to the health also. General health will not be affected much. So there is no bad effect, no bad effects on the general health. You note the differences also. When I write these all, you will get the differences between acute and chronic diseases also. So general health. So in case of acute diseases, there is no bad effects on the general health of the persons. General health of the persons means loss of body weight maybe, it's a bad effect, or tiredness maybe, and short of breath maybe. These all bad effects will not be there in case of acute diseases. So they last for a short duration of time, and there is no bad effect on the general health of the persons also. Means what are these bad effects? For example, loss of body weight maybe, or feeling short of breath maybe, or tiredness maybe, that will not be there. And there is no need of hospitalization also. No need to hospitalize also. No need to hospitalize also. Within a very short period of time, patients get recovered or get relief from these acute diseases. If you consider the chronic diseases, can you define now? Acute means they last for short period of time. But these are the diseases which last for a long period of time. Long period of time. These chronic diseases last for a long period of time. For example, many examples you can give. Lifelong also. They may be lifelong also. Very long period of time. They may be lifelong. The patients may suffer. And examples are elephantiasis, cancer, and many such diseases last for longer duration of time. And such diseases also, they have many bad effects on the general health of the persons. There are many bad effects on the general health of the patients also. Means what I said, loss of body weight maybe, tiredness maybe, and short of breath maybe. There are many such bad effects on the general health of the patients, and there is a need to hospitalize also. Need to be hospitalized also. So I hope you know the differences between acute and chronic diseases. Now you can differentiate between acute and chronic diseases. Now let us learn about the infectious agents. Which are the infectious agents and the causes? Which agents cause the different diseases? Infectious and non-infectious diseases. You have learnt in your previous classes that many diseases are caused by microbes, and these diseases which are caused by microbes, they spread from person to person, and such diseases are called infectious diseases, and some diseases are not caused by microorganisms and they do not spread from person to person. Such diseases are called non-infectious diseases. Now in the next class, let us learn about the infectious agents. You know that viruses, bacteria, fungi, there are many such microorganisms are responsible for the causes of the diseases. Let us learn about these infectious agents in the next class. Thank you.